So, a lot of you might be aware of what narcissistic personality disorder is. It's a mental health issue that affects between 1 and 2% of Americans. And unfortunately, a lot of people who have narcissistic personality disorder end up leading very successful lives. And why do I say unfortunately? Because those successful narcissists do so by making everybody else around them basically slaves. That's what people with narcissistic personality disorder do. They basically enjoy controlling others, making others feel weaker than they are. That's what I don't like about narcissists. And I've been a victim of one. I've been a victim of one indirectly for the last 10 years. While I was only in the presence of one for 2 years, the psychological repercussions, and even the non-psychological repercussions, but the after effects lasted much longer. Because of remember I used to tell you stories of my teacher who had narcissistic personality disorder, how she would turn me against students and other students against me, and every time I got beat up for being bullied, every time I got bullied, got beat up, she would punish me for it. Or if she didn't punish me for it, she wouldn't do anything about it. So what she would do is, frequently, she would taunt me by punishing me in front of the bullies, and also when they were gone. But in front of the bullies, if they were beating me up, she was like, "Oh, Arthur must have done something to upset you," and they were like, "Yeah, he said this and this and this to us," which of course I never did. Which I would then get enraged at the bullies for believing her lies, and then at the teacher. And I would mouth off at both of them, which would get me in more trouble. And then she would do the same thing to me. She was like, "Oh, you know what they said about you? You know what I tell her to her face? I don't care, because I know you're lying." So she didn't like that I basically knew her game. And like a classical narcissist, I was a scapegoat. The bullies were basically the good kids. She basically maybe didn't like how they behaved, but because they never questioned her authority, like how I did, they were basically their golden child, and I was basically the narcissist. While I had the best behavior, I dared question her authority. I dared question that bitch's authority. And I got in a lot of trouble for it, just for questioning her authority. 90% of the consequences I got, about 80% was for questioning her authority. And she wouldn't punish me immediately for it, right away. She would find reasons to get me in trouble. Usually things I didn't do. But it usually happened a few days, a couple hours, or a few days after I questioned her authority. Was sent from another punishment. At times, I got punished 3 times for stuff I didn't do. Once for something I didn't do, then the second time for questioning her authority about the first time, and then the third time for questioning her authority on the first and second time. But I continued to question her authority. I continued and continued and continued. And so eventually, all the psychological trauma got to me, and I developed a severe case of OCD. Even before I developed OCD, my mom was already having meetings with this inclusion director, and angry meetings at that. I was in one of the meetings where, I was already telling my mom constant stories of this, and now that the inclusion director, my para came forward with cooperating, going along with what I was saying, because it was true, my mom went off at her, literally, screamed and cursed at her. Something I never imagined my mom would do, because she was a teacher herself. Well, speech pathologist. Nevertheless. And so when she continued bullying me, she was like, "Oh, what are you going to do, Arthur? Get your mom on me?" She would say stuff like that, and I'll be like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "More than that, I'm going to record you." I actually threatened to bring in a hidden camera to record her and show it to the police. At the time, YouTube didn't exist. Or it was basically a fledgling site. YouTube didn't form until 2005. This was early '05, so I haven't really heard of YouTube yet. Or Facebook. I mean, I had MySpace at the time, but that's about it. So anyway, at the time, my mom decided to pull me out of school, send me to a special education school. And that's where I spent 6 years, from 2006 through 2012. And but you know why I got pushed down a flight of stairs? You know, going back to the incident, what got me pushed down a flight of stairs on February 15, 2002, on a Tuesday? It was because I had a meltdown over getting in trouble for something the other student did to me. And because of the meltdown, where I threw his jacket on the floor and stomped on it when he wasn't there, you know, I did that because he beat me up for accidentally touching his jacket, yet he threw my hat in the mailbox. So I decided to kind of have revenge on his jacket. And she decided to tell him, which got me pushed down a flight of stairs. 6 months later, she told me how another student tried to beat me up when I wasn't aware. I'm like, and I didn't know why she was doing this. I just thought she was a tattletale. And anyway, it turned out she had narcissistic personality disorder. And she ruined my life because of it. I'm behind 6 years because of her. I mean, I didn't graduate high school until I was 22 because I had to go to a special education school to recover emotionally from that from that scumbag. And on top of that, I also had to go to therapy sessions, and I still go to it because of the emotional trauma she gave me. And I still cannot get around it because it was so much. It was daily trauma. It wasn't once a week or twice a week. It was every single day. It was daily. And that's why I'm still recovering emotionally from it. And not just emotionally, I'm still struggling to get to school because it took me such a long time to graduate high school. Because I had to go to a special ed school. And I can't take more than one class at a time because of my disability. Well, that's not her fault, but the stress doesn't make it any better. Thank you for watching. Bye.